Hi, everybody. This is Janet, and I'm going to tell you the story of restoring this Victorian dresser from the left to the right. I bought this from Facebook Marketplace, and when I brought it home, first of all, it's glorious just by its very structure. It was made between 1870 and 1900. I'll tell you how I know that. I was very attracted to these handles, which are not the original drawer pulls. Not so much attracted to the way that this looked, in its condition as I found it. You can see that there's been some neglect and damage. It was covered in dust, dirt, cobwebs, a lot of spider webs. And the drawers really didn't move well. They were in a state of disrepair, and there was so much staining and disrepair that I wasn't sure that the original drawers were going to be able to be preserved. This is why I was attracted to this. And these are called Knapp joints. The drawers between 1870 and 1900 were put together with a machine that made these pin and cove joints, and they replaced the handmade dovetails before dovetailed machines were starting to be made. Pin and cove joints are just lovely and gorgeous, and I just salivate over them. When I saw this available, I jumped right on it and really didn't care how much work would be needed to restore it. That's what I said then. The drawers, again, were stained and in various states of disrepair, and many of them were falling apart. My first chore was to take it apart. I wanted to do this without breaking that top piece, and the top piece itself, I wanted to show you the thinness of this wood. It looked like it was there trying to hold something else in place, possibly a sheet of marble, but it wasn't supported by anything underneath, and it had a crack in it. Someone had tried to, I guess, put something down on it, and the structure underneath broke. You can see it's really dirty. Taking it apart would involve removing these top parts, and the nails were pretty rusted in place. It took a lot of work, believe it or not, to get this part off. After I removed the top part, I was able to clean it and could see that most of the supports were falling apart or were very loose. They would need further supports or structural support. There was also an imbalance. One of the wheels had been damaged or lost. I brought the top piece in to wash just to see if I could take a little bit of extra care. And while I was washing it, I could see that it was pretty far gone. It was really dirty. And suddenly it split. I could see that it had been glued. So I had to glue it back into place, and also took off the ancient wheels. One of them was pretty munched. That was where the most damage was. One of the legs was either eaten by termites or it had fallen into a terrible state of disrepair. And I decided to remove it. Easier said than done on a Victorian piece of furniture. I removed half of it without disturbing the structure. And then I went into the job of Mickey Mousing a repair. I found an old antique wheel holder that I had and propped it up in place with some old wood. It's not the best fix, but it worked. Now I had the job of taking the top piece off, which was removable, just to make the repairs to hold the top into place. But surprise, surprise, the screws were rusted into place. Took a lot of work with WD-40 and manual screwdrivers. The screws themselves were specific to this piece, so I decided to boil them in salt water and save them. This is after the first wash with TSP and a sponge. It's already quite lovely, but I knew that I'd have to do more of a wash. So I got the hose out and had some soap and water and really removed the barn dirt. I don't know how else to say it. It's muddy. It had been stored outside or stored in a shed or something where it had accumulated a lot of dust and dirt. These are wormholes. At one time, they were wood-boring insects. I decided to take care of them with a spray, just in case there was any active, and it turns out that there was not. Lots of mud and dirt. At the very end, I always like to show you, this is how bad it was. It doesn't even look that bad, but it was pretty bad. Anyway, on to the fixes. I had to structurally support the supports after cleaning with all kinds of wood cleaners. I used everything from soap and water to TSP to Windex and oxalic acid in some places. My go-to is TSP, and this is an example. People always ask me, how much do I mix? And so I just decided to show you how I eyeball this. Don't inhale. Just to make sure that it's mixed in well, I put in hot water. Now remember, I'm going to tackle the back, which looked like it had smoke damage on top of the wormholes. This is after one round of TSP. This is the second round of TSP. I do wear gloves. I don't know if you can tell they're see-through gloves, I guess. After, this is as good as it's gonna get, and I just decided one more round of oxalic acid. Now this has been sprayed. There is no active wood boring insects, but I wanted to see if I could get rid of the damaged look. A lot of people like the wormhole look. I really don't. I like restoration to look like it just came out of the factory. After the structure was cleaned, I decided to take on the drawers. They had, I could tell that that's where the most work was going to be, is the drawers. They had to be structurally fixed, and after cleaning them, they were just in terrible shape. I could see most of them were not sliding because they had either warped or the wood was not joined correctly. There's the dirty water. After a while doing this, you can usually tell the difference in cultures. Back then, people smoked in the house, so a lot of what I'm removing is nicotine. You can see by the yellowish tinge of my paper towel. After that, I did a very eco-friendly furniture remover or finish remover, and took off the top of the finish. The veneer that is on the front panels, I didn't take off the front panels just because they seemed to be very situated into place and they were not warping or damaged, but the veneer on top of them was. So just to make things uniform, I decided to take off the front lying veneer with a steam iron. Sometimes the veneer comes off easier with a little bit of coaxing. Most of the glue back then was a contact glue. And when it heats up, it comes off quicker. Always use a towel that you don't care about. Time to sand. The first thing I had to sand down was the leg that I had put in to support the one side. To make it more uniform, I had to see what could be filled in with wood putty. I decided to use Bondo wood filler to secure that leg. And while I was at it, used it to secure some drawers. A Bondo wood filler is for people who really want to make sure that it gets done well, but a lot of purists don't like to use it. They'll use the rosin enhanced wood fillers that are as reliable, a little bit more expensive, but the Bondo really works well. You just have to mix it quickly and use it right away. But it is amazingly reliable. Because the drawers were not sliding and falling apart, I needed to square them off and make sure that they were uniform. The same thing with this leg. It had to be secured and squared off. I could see that one of the major things was that it wasn't connected to the other part of the structure. So I decided to fix that while I was at it. More sanding. I brought out the big guns for the sides. This probably wasn't a very expensive piece of furniture for the day, but for today, it is incredibly well made. And here is me conditioning the wood. This is the step right before we stain. I want to make sure that there's an even absorption, so I use a wood conditioner just to shape this wood up and make it evenly drink up the stain. Because they were treasured, I wanted to make sure that the Knapp joints were preserved with wood conditioner as well. See that Knapp right there? This has had a ton of repair. So that means that if it's, see, look at that was all chipped and broken.
Mm-hmm.
See, this one was split apart. Some of them you can't get rid of the telltale fixes.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it would be just a split drawer like it was when we got it.
Mm.
But I knew. See if this is going to show up well. This is the Knapp joints.
Look at those. Wow.
The Knapp joints are everything. But you see how much repair they've had. See?
Yeah, but it's some repair, but it's...
They've had a lot of repair.
But they're not, they're still there.
They're still there. Because these are rare.
Yeah.
And the solid, I thought it was mahogany. But if I take a picture, it shows up as walnut. Both are hardwoods that are very beautiful. So the wood conditioner will show what's been sanded, what's been glued. It's very telltale. But it will also enhance what I've done. I decided to paint the inside of the drawers, mainly because there was so much repair to them. So I had started with the spray paint of white and ended up paintbrushing it. The drawer pulls were lovely. Oh, they were so lovely. I had to scrub them with a toothbrush and then a wire brush, and just to get off all of the layers of wax. I used a gel stain for the body, and I decided to use an ebony or a darker wood only because I didn't know if I pulled enough tannins out of the actual wood for it not to go completely orange if I used a walnut stain. So this is a dark ebony or an espresso. You can see all of the repair to the drawers on the undersides. I've decided not to do the Knapp joints. And just to make sure that it was uniform from underneath, I decided to paint the restored support in a black wash. It will be matching with the ebony paint, but it won't be able to stain because this has been fixed with that Bondo mixture, and it won't be able to accept a stain. Anyway, it's from the underneath, and it won't show anywhere unless you're looking for it. But the support now is in place. The screws had been cleaned and saved. I decided not to use power tools to put this back together. One slip and that's it. Even though the drawer doesn't have its hardware, you can see how it fits better. You can see that it accepted a lot of the stain, but it still looks a little bit splotchy. But the drawers are now sliding in very well. And the drawer stops are in place so that it looks like the drawers fit. I've replaced the hardware just so in the sun it looks like this. When you bring it in, it will still have that beautiful Victorian splendor. And the Knapp joints look like this now, fully restored. Thank you for watching. Ready for the reveal?